I'll tell you the truth. All right. So,
do we have to talk about
on
this?
different things? No. I think it's good. I think it's healthy. It's healthy.
All right, listen. I'm Idris Elba.
I'm Che Lingo for Enemy.
Right. So, where do we start? First time we met.
Yeah.
What happened? What was the vibe?
Well, for me, I tell you, obviously there was an element of being starstruck a little bit, and it was just like,
really,
yeah, defo.
I didn't know that.
Defo, bruv.
You're calm. You didn't. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, it's like you're starstruck because you're like, oh, this person is in front of me, and I've only ever seen this person on television screens throughout my whole life. You know what I mean? And then now they're in front of me, but the energy you gave me back was so like not the star. You know what I mean? It was just like, yo, bro, like, and from that, it was just easy. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? And it just kind of mellowed and settled all of the anxiety and that. But I mean, I try to enter things with poise anyway, like just to kind of...
You do, you're very...
Make the other person not feel awkward. You know
we met here, right, in the studio. We met here at 7 Wallace. And when I met Che, up until that point, I had been listening to his music a lot. And listening... First of all, because I put it into playlists and it would just pop up and then it'd be like, oh yeah, that's Che. And then Rachel, who runs 7 Wallace label, was like, yo, sending me all his old SoundCloud stuff and all this stuff. So I like had a little bit of like a sort of Che universe before I met you. And, you know, I love lyrics. So when I met you, I was just like, wow, my guy sounds exactly how he speaks. And I was just listening to you because it was like, wow, like, you know, you just, there were some rappers that, you know, put on a voice and do it and it's a performance only on record, and then in real life they either quite subdued or they're not, but you're just as articulate as you are on your record.
Oh,
so
thank you, bro.
I was just like, wow, check my guy out.
Yeah, I think that after I got over the whole kind of being a little bit starstruck and stuff, and like you gave me the energy and it just mellowed me out. It was just like, I just really want to play you the stuff now. Do you know what I mean? I just really want to play you the music, and obviously I know you listen to it already, but it's like I want to be in the room because, you know, like as an artist, like, oh yeah, listen to this tune, but then you can tell if the person's like into it or not. Do you know what I mean? You can kind of You can kind of, you get me, if they pick up their phone too soon, you're like,
they're not listening.
You've done me dirty, but you can't even say like, yo, put your phone down. Like,
some people listen like that.
Yeah, I hear that.
I've been thrown by that a lot. By people just be like, and they're listening.
Yeah, I guess
because some people listen like that. Some people can't go. You know what I mean?
You're right. Do you know what? Fair enough. No, you're right. No, you're right. Do you know what? And I'm probably guilty of doing this.
Do you have, I know the answer to this, but do you have famous fans?
Yes.
You do, don't you?
Yes.
Talk about that.
Okay, so I know we were talking to Jude Law at one point about coming to a show because he expressed interest in
Jude
music.
Law?
Yeah. This was...
That's random.
Yeah. He was a fan.
He
was like a deeper fan of another band and a guy that I know called Saz. And basically... I think we might have been playing the same show, and he just showed up a little bit early, so I met him before the show, and I was like, oh yeah, big fan, whatever. And then he was like, yeah, I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, okay, cool, you know what I'm saying? And then Tutu's, my manager's now speaking to the guy who organizes his stuff, do you know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, we're gonna do this show here. And he's like, oh, okay, Jude will try and make it. And it's
big
like,
shout, Jude.
Crazy, come on, man.
He's a good mate.
Like, yeah, and then obviously more recently, Mo the Comedian, Wiley, me and Stormzy follow each other, which is on flipping honour.
Stormzy is a fan, yeah?
I hope so. I hope so. Do you know what I mean? I know we follow each other, and I would like to assume that he only follows people he's fans of when it comes to musicians. You get me? So
he's got a really great ear he's got a great ear for music, and like who he listens to. He's very discerning about that. So that's big. Yeah. Famous fans. I've got just to like follow up on that. Like when you said, you know, meeting me, and then, you know, it was cool. Like I've met a bunch of people that I've been fans of that I didn't realise they were fans of me. I'm not going to name drop, but you know what I mean? Because it'll just be
drop the names, but I'm not going to do that.
I'm not going to drop the names now, but I just know that feeling of going, wow, you know me. You know? Okay. What motivates me as a musician? First of all, I'm really coming to terms of being called a musician, if I'm honest, and that's a separate thing altogether. So that aside, what motivates me is just the love, the pure, unadulterated love for music. I love my relationship with Sonics.
Yeah.
And when I say Sonics,
what a way to say it.
Yeah, because I really listen and feel music. Yeah. It's not just like rap. I listen to every component of every song. I might listen to one song a few times just to hear one component. And I love that relationship because it just means it's a gift that keeps giving.
Definitely.
I like the creativity. I feel like, you know, I'm an actor and I typically say other people's words. I live the imagination of someone else, and I turn them into a character. But when I'm making music or a part of music project, you know what I mean, that comes from me. It comes from the collaboration. It comes from within the room. It's not someone else's that's applied to me. So my motivation is that. It's a combination of all of those elements together. I love words, and I love storytelling. You know what I'm saying? I feel like storytelling is definitely the bond of peace between everyone. It's like, you know, you might even be really pissed off with me and I tell you a story that calms you down. It may not be related to us, but I just be like, listen, bro.
But it puts things into perspective.
It puts things into perspective. Offers you a lens that you can't see from. And that is what I love about music, you know what I'm saying? I especially love that about your music, I have to say, because like you paint pictures for me.
I think...
You paint pictures
because, thank you. I think because I started, what motivates me in music, I think because I started in creativity with drawing. And this is something I'm learning about myself now, as you said that, funnily enough. When I was 10, 11, 12, I was drawing like pictures of anime characters that I'd printed off from the internet because me and my friends were all just into Dragon Ball Z and whatever.
Right.
And we did that religiously every day. And then we were to the point where we had so many pictures that you put them in a folder, bring them to school and show each other. Do you know what I mean? So like, oh yeah, this is what I did. And yeah, look how I got the hair nice and rare. You get me? And the eyes, yeah, like it looks exactly like the... And you would never trace it, you would just draw it. So it's always like you trying to like manifest what's in front of you. Do you know what I mean? But in image form.
Yeah.
So I think that has kind of matured and grown and kind of transmuted itself into music. I've retained that. Do you know what I mean? I've retained that ability to kind of tell a story. That's what I like to believe anyway, because if I can't see it in my head, I won't release it. Do you know what I mean? I won't put it out. I won't even continue writing it until I can see it in my head. So that being said, it's kind of like a very satisfying and very like edifying feeling, yeah, to be in a place where you've made your song, you can see it in your head, and then you shoot a video. Do you know what I mean? Like there's nothing other than performing that song, knowing everyone's seen the video. There's nothing more like gratifying than bringing that vision to life. You get me? The same kind of gratification I guess I used to get when I was drawing. Do you know what I mean? And I looked back and gone, yeah, this is exactly like that.
Talk to me about My Block, because that came from a real moment in your life. And like I always imagined that My Block came from a moment of fuck it, I'm gonna talk about this, and boom. Is that how it came about?
Yeah. So in 2013, prior to 2013, I've been trying to make a career of music since I was 16. And I grew up in Southwest London. I grew up with my grandma because my mum was like doing all sorts of other stuff, and we're totally cool now, and she's not involved, and she's a God-fearing woman, 10 years gone. Like I wouldn't be here without her, you know what I mean? That's my everything. But obviously everybody goes through their trials and tribulations, and she had me when she was 17. So I've moved in with my nan, and I've gone to school, blah blah blah. Got to a point where I'm like, okay, I know I want to do music. So 16, I'm going to youth clubs. 13, 14, 15, 16, I'm going to youth clubs. 16, I'm living with my mum at this point, and I'm going back to South to perform songs. But whilst this is all happening, I'm working part-time jobs. One of the part-time jobs was at a trainer shop in West London, and this guy called Julian Cole started working in this trainer shop after me. So I've been there for like a year or something, and he comes and we hit it off, and he's a fan of what I'm doing already, and I'm just part-time and doing open mics and going to youth clubs to record because I've got no money for rare, and this is why I'm using this money to, you get me, and then I'm still going to college and like going home and trying to be a big brother because I didn't live with my. You get me? Like there's loads going on.
A lot going on.
But I've met Julian and we've clicked. So then later down we've both left the job and we're not really speaking as much. But we've got like a Facebook group for all the guys that used to work in his shop.
Yeah.
So as I've like gone into the ether of life and we're kind of just doing our thing. I've got a call in 2013. I got a call from one of our mutuals that used to work in the trainer shop, and she rings me and I'm at home and she's like, I don't want to be the one to break this to you, but have you heard about Julian? And obviously the first thing I thought is that he's passed away, God forbid, and for some reason. And I was like, no, what happened, kind of thing. And she kind of just explained to me that he got into some kind of incident, and he's got brain damage and his neck's broken. And he's in IC in Cambridge. I get to find out later on, doing some research, speaking more to the mutual friends from the store and whatever, and on Facebook and stuff, that it was police that actually broke his neck. So he went to a nightclub in Bedfordshire, and the nightclub's been locked off for whatever reason, and he's left the nightclub, but I guess gone back to speak to the manager or something. And the way that I was told it, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the way that I was told it is that he was passed to bouncers passed him to police, and after the contact with the police, 6 police officers, his neck was broken. So he's a victim of police brutality in the most raw, in the rawest form. They didn't. The reports say they didn't check his vitals. They didn't see if he was breathing, which means he spent a certain amount of time in the back of the police van with a broken neck and brain damage, and no one had checked to see if he was even alive. He got to the station, same thing. Following that now, I've like chased up with his family and whatever, and I've started tweeting like, "Raw, police broke my brethren's neck," and like, what's going on? What's happening? 2016, his family's asked me to speak outside the American embassy because of how ham I'm going on Twitter for him, on their behalf, because obviously they're still fighting the case with the solicitor and blah 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 blah.
Why the American embassy?
Because there was a case of another guy who suffered the same kind of police brutality in America.
Oh, okay.
And his name was Freddie Gray. Ultimately speaking, it was just a mad situation for me to kind of experience. It's not my situation, but he is still now and was then my friend. You know what I mean? And he was a big fan of my music and a big supporter. As we sit here right now, none of his family have any compensation. Like financial compensation. So they're paying, so whatever their health bills are, whatever the situation it is to take care of him, they have to front that bill, as well as trying to fight and pay legal fees for them for justice.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's not what justice looks like. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't look like that.
The message in that song is powerful, and like obviously you feel like, appreciate you sharing with us as well, because that's like deep. Yeah. But obviously, you know what I mean, you have a lot of power in your music. It's like you're not just doing music to just to write bars. You're doing it to come and say stuff.
Do you know what? Do you know what's so mad? I'll tell you the truth, yeah? Alright. I'll tell you the truth. Alright. So,
do we have to talk about
on
this?
different things? No. I think it's good. I think it's healthy. It's hard because what you did on New Breed was lovely. Like, it was lovely. Do you know what I mean? And what you did on Bossy was also lovely. And I think between them, I just don't know which one I prefer to listen to more in terms of songs that you're a part of. Do you get me? Or verses that I've heard from you. It's like I just don't know which one I wanna listen to more. Probably New Breed, to be honest.
Okay.
Probably your involvement in New Breed.
Okay. It's interesting talking about. I expected you to talk about my acting work. In that answer, I expected that.
Do you know what? And I was beyond that.
I see that.
Damn.
And that's where I was squirming, because like as much as I love making music and I don't like talking about it.
Yeah.
And also because, you know what I mean, like there are so many like...
Why not though?
Because there's so many restrictions I put on it myself. I'm like a, you know, I unlike you, I don't write to make social change. I write purely for the fun and gratification. I'm a DJ. I'm a bedroom DJ producer. So I've always, you know, what happens if I do this and what happens if I do that?
Defo.
Purely for the sonics of it.
Yeah.
Interesting that you say, you know, like New Breed or Boasty, both of which are songs that came out this year. And for me, represent the most commercial of anything I've ever done. Everything I've done really sits on SoundClouds or YouTubes here and there. It's not like I'm going out, you know, chasing a career in that space. I just like doing it. But Bosie's interesting because of the moment in time that record came about. The moment in time, like Bosie's a record that really emulates a forgotten time of a certain sound of reggae music.
Definitely.
And then to be a part of, you know, Steph London, who's a Rise, The Godfather, Wiley, and Sean Paul, all of us pulled together this moment and revitalised it. It became an international hit. And I'm sitting there going, how did I get involved in that? And mind you, it was in my bedroom putting that record, and I'm like, I can imagine Wiley, I can imagine this over that, and da-da-da. And that's how that record came about. For me, I like a lot of your music, but I think Black Ones, not because, you know, I get to help you work that out there, but also just because I think Black Ones is just a powerful record.
Thank you, bro.
I think
Shout out Gets on the feature.
I think Gets on the feature as well. And you know what I'm saying? And like you and Gets together, first of all, Black Ones on My Feet. You know, when I heard that first, I imagine, and you tell me, but I see you wearing Air Forces. All right. And, you know, growing up in England and America, the soldier foot was the black Air Force Ones. And I imagine essentially that is what you're talking about.
Yeah, like it's like that versus kind of like the everyday struggles of somebody who's in a situation that they know is necessarily not the greatest situation to be in long term, or something that they know is destructive short term and could be at any point for them. Do you know what I mean? And I think the real idea of what that song means is like, you don't even know what I'm going through. Like it's easy for the media to tell you, it's easy for people that don't live it to tell you what, regardless of where they come from in the world, it's easy for them not to tell you, but you don't know what man goes through every day in my head. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's the fact that I'm so connected to my area, hence why we shot the My Block video there. And a lot, to be honest, the majority of the people in that video are from the area. Do you know what I mean? Are friends of mine from young. So
a lot of screw faces in your neighborhood, isn't it?
Do you know what it is? It's less screw faces.
I'm joking.
More,
what you say about us and boyfriend? There's a lot of screw faces.
More kind of fed up. You know what I mean?
Focus is what I get from my blog video.
Very
Focus.
fed up, very stringent. Like I've had enough. Don't BS me anymore. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So yeah, I think with Black Ones, I've experienced a lot of man attaching to that, is when they put on those black Air Forces or when they put on those black trainers, they're going outside to try and survive.
Who's your favourite artist?
Right now? Or just ever?
Ever.
I think Kendrick. I think I'd have to say Kendrick, yeah.
Do you remember the first time you heard Kendrick? Like the first time you heard it and what you remember?
Yeah, I've heard Rigor Mortis, and it's so crazy because I heard Rigor Mortis and immediately thought I could do that. I probably wouldn't be exactly the same, but the feeling I'm getting right now, I could give someone that, and I could do that. The flows, everything, and
So you heard Rigor Mortis before you were rapping? No.
I was already rapping. Yeah, I was listening to grime and but I didn't transition from grime. I started on grime. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I learned like multi-syllabic rhyming and schemes and patterns and all of that stuff to kind of make the rap more skillful. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then as I grew older, and where grime was at the time, I didn't think it didn't really validate who I was as a person. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I had to take the music elsewhere. But I didn't want to go all the way into R&B because I'm not a singer. Do you know what I mean? I can hold a note, but so hip hop was the middle point. Yeah, and that's when I started listening to like Snoop Dogg, and it was like I was like 18.
That's interesting. I think Kendrick, for me, he is Kendrick Lamar. Like, you know, yes, it falls under the genre of hip hop, but like Bob Marley falls under the genre of reggae. He's just Bob.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get it's so interesting. And interesting because you said Kendrick, and I thought about, you know, some of the influences that certainly, you know what I mean, have a duality. And it's not about a sound, it's just that the two of you sound like Che Lingo. You don't sound like anyone else. So it's hard to say, is that grime? Is that drill? It's just Che, you know what I mean? It's a compliment.
Thank you.
If you were to do karaoke, what would you sing? And that's a big if, because you don't strike me as a dude that's rolling.
Nah! Karaoke is not man's thing. Damn, you stress me out.
There's got to be one tune that you know you can blow in front of.
Blow it out of the water,
screen,
like, flipping hell. And there is, I just don't know what it is. I want to say it's rigor mortis, but it's definitely not. I don't know. It's hard.
Mine would be.
What is yours?
And I've done karaoke.
That's rattled me,
Yeah,
that's proper.
It was a curve.
That's proper rattled me, bro. Go on.
I don't do karaoke. I have done before, and I tend to like the crooners. You know, like the Franks and the Dean Martins. You know.
All right, I know the song.
Okay.
I know the song. It's Frank Ocean.
Okay.
And it's Super Rich Kids.
Big tune. Super
Rich Kids, Frank Ocean.
Would you do the verses as well?
24 Karat Gold, Frank Ocean with Tyler Creator.
Okay.
Frank's
my wife's
He's
favorite,
inside
actually.
my heart, man.
Yeah.
He's inside my heart, bro.
Mine would be probably Frank Sinatra.
Okay.
That's life. Last question is, you was talking about a camp.
Yeah.
This is a time for shout outs. But as you know, like Seven Wallace is a new label.
Yeah.
We'll shout out to Seven Wallace and the gang. And you know what I mean? You are one of our first artists, and we consider ourselves a camp. The artists the way we work, we like to just incubate. You know what I mean? This is one of our studios. We like to incubate. Who, signed or unsigned, would you bring into your camp at Wallace?
To my camp at Wallace. And the only reason
camp at Wallace.
Okay, the camp at Wallace.
That you would say, this is a label, mate, and if we rock on a record together, it's going to represent
It's crazy.
a movement.
That's not on Wallace already.
That's not on Wallace, yeah.
The only reason this is going to be hard for me is because all of my brethren are talented.
Yeah.
All of them are stupid talented, like ridiculously talented, like.
So you have a camp of artists.
Yeah.
That are your brethren as well.
Yeah.
True friends.
Yeah. So like.
So mention them.
So like, definitely. All right. So there's. It's so hard. It's because you said one, innit?
I said one, and that's gonna put you on a spot. I don't want to put you on a spot.
There's Fatch. There's Risky. There's Polite Adventures. Shy Mercer. There's. Mate, there's so many, man. There's Tiny Man. There's.
Now, as a camp, do you see all their mans there on a cypher, and it would be sick?
Yes, just because of the energy they would share between them. You know what I mean? They're all very individuals. There's a whole bunch. There's Kyo. There's everyone super talented. There's Hate on Dan, who's a producer. There's flipping Peter Tyson, who's helping me mix my new stuff with Kane.
Right.
They produce Black Ones.
Wicked.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, say it like that speaks for itself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's intense. Like it's all of the talent in my camp is so intense.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily blend with each other.
Yeah.
But they're all so prolific in their own ways. And anytime any of them step into a room, it's like they leave and everyone's like, oh, I love that guy.
For us, I mean, shout out to Wavy. Wavy's one of the camp. James BKS.
Cold.
Cole, he's a wicked producer.
So cold.
Representing Paris and Gabon. Parker. I don't know if you know Parker.
No,
Parker and girl, he's sick. Alian from Vancouver. Young you, who's nice. There's a camp, you know what I mean? It's good to talk.
The geographic space of everyone is very different as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing about it. I think the label for us is that because of the duality of my career, like I've been here and there, and I said there and there, here and there, I say US and the UK, Europe, UK, US a lot. That's how I imagine the map.
Sometimes like I get into situations here and I can handle it with poise. Like my mum raised me to be, and my grandma raised me to be somebody who can kind of just handle anything with some level of poise past just outrageous behaviour. And like, yeah, like that being said, like I still have moments where I'm going to toilet, I need 5 minutes to myself. I'm not going to toilet, I just need 5 minutes to myself. Do you know what I mean? Like I just need to, all right, I'm about to sit down and have an interview with Idris Elba. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't, as much as we're all humans and no man is better than another. It's still amazing because of the role that the people, whoever they may be, have played in my life.
You can always imagine yourself in moments where you're doing something that is pinnacle to you, where you could be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like quite easily.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do need that 5 minutes.
100%. I think that's what that 5 minutes keeps me grateful. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah,
keeps me grateful.
It's a little moment of meditation of just like where you could have been versus where you are about to do or what you're doing now.
I can still be in retail right now. And there's nothing wrong with working in retail because that's what got me here.
Yeah.
But obviously, I don't want to be there. It's not what I love to do. I love to do this. And I think a whole part of a journey in someone's life is just like a big part of it, if not all of it. Hope it's not all of it, but it's just finding what you love to do and then experiencing enough of life to be brave enough to actually do that thing.
Yeah.
You get me? Like to actually maybe quit your job or leave the situation you're in, whether it's a relationship that's not gratifying you, or your work that's not having the impact you want it to have on you or the world, or whatever the case may be. Like, it's just being brave enough to say, I need to pattern elsewhere whilst I'm doing this, watch a little less Netflix, do a little less partying, and just go and pattern. So I can actually prove to myself that I'm convicted to that thing. My whole movement and the whole kind of vibe of where that came from, and the ethos of where that came from, is called TRIP. The risk is proof. It's like an acronym. And it's about on a deeper level, on a more spiritual level, it's about balancing the wins and losses. If you lose, cool, the risk is proof. I know what not to do. Yeah. If you win, the risk was proof because you won. You know what I mean? And then on the flip side, it's also a personal thing and a mental, kind of keeps my mental in a good place when we do lose or win. Because it's like, all right, what more can we do? Because I don't want this to fail later. Do you know what I mean? If we're doing well now and we've proved it now, we need to keep proving it. So what more can we do? And then on the flip side, it's like you take the risk and you work through your risks and all your wins and your losses because you're convicted to that thing. Yeah. But you only have that energy for something you love, because you have infinite energy for the things you genuinely love. So whether it's bad for you or good for you, you'll make excuses so you can keep doing that thing over and over again. If it's upsetting your family because you can't contribute to the house because you're spending it on studio time and your phone bill so that you can stay on the internet and continue to propel your music career, but they don't get it. You just get to a point where you're like, I've done so much, I can't stop doing this now. Like I just have to keep going. I have to keep going, and I love it. So it's never not enjoyable to keep going. Yeah.
Brethren, I love it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed that because you know what I mean. It's Che Lingo, Idris Elba, and yo, man, it's been an education for me. I hope it has for you.
Yeah, defo, bro. I learned a lot.
Yeah, I've learned a lot, man. And I'm so proud, by the way, to be working with you. Like, to be a little part of your journey, man. Bro, I'm very proud of it.
Trust me, it's more than a little part right now. I promise you that. Thank you for believing in what I do in this form.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
No doubt. To the day we pass. All right, so thank you.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Love it.